Commissioner Collins will lead us in the blessing, and Commissioner Alford will lead us in the pledge. If you would, please stand. All right, thank you very much. Before I recognize the mayor, I just want to say thank you to the members of finance for moving this meeting. Normally, we obviously meet on the first Monday. That was Labor Day, and then Tuesday I had to be out of town on a business trip. So I definitely appreciate you guys accommodating on that. And also, congratulations to Commissioner Mason. Sorry I wasn't here last night to see the vote there, but I understand you're our new vice chair, so congratulations on that. And we'll go to our agenda. Oh, there you go. Back to the mayor. Mayor Davis, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I have one thing that's not on your agenda as an amendment I'll get to in just a second. First of all, your credit card report, everything's good. Fire department 5 times, all good. Assessor 3 times, all good. Sheriff 1 time, all good. County mayor 1 time, all good. EMA 3 times, all good. Juvenile did not use, and EMS did not use. So everything's good on the credit card report. You have a packet of amendments, but I do need to add one. I assume it's budgeted. I assume you're wanting to continue the air monitoring contract at the landfill. And if so, I have in the budget, I didn't increase it, and they increased the price this year. The new price is $73,521. We have $72,100 in the budget. So if you want to continue the contract, I need an amendment. I don't have copies. Caleb, by the way, had to go home sick, so I'm what you've got today. I have an amendment, but I didn't get copies made. I didn't know I was going to have them. But you'll be taking $1,421 out of the fund balance of the landfill budget and putting it in the 55,900 line 599 to give the 73,521 amount. Does that make sense?
And that's the accounting piece of it, yeah. Yeah, sorry.
What about the county piece? In other words, there's 72,100 there, and we need 73,521. So it's a $1,421 amendment that I would need you to approve before I can pay the bill. And again, assuming you want to continue that contract. So what's the wishes of the commission, I guess, first on the contract? And if you do, I need a motion to approve the amendment.
Open floor.
I make a motion that we approve the minute of the motion that the mayor requested.
I'll second.
Hold on a second. So the first question is, do we want to continue the contract? Not this. You're just trying to move money out of the fund balance in order to pay the bill.
Right.
But do we want to continue with the contract is a bigger question, I think. This is now, what, 4 or 5 years with these monitors? And it was not supposed to be a long-term solution, if I remember correctly. I mean, it was, we had conversations with Republic. We thought that having these monitors out there would eliminate, quote unquote, whatever was going on out there. So, I mean, let me ask you this. Are, per the contract, this amount that they're going up, is it in the contract that they're going to get this amount?
It says it can go up cost of living, or I'm not sure what the figure they use, but yeah. So it went up $1,400. What's that? A very small percentage. But you know, the real question is, you did this contract 3 years ago, maybe 4. I know 3. Of course, the contract isn't anything that fixed the problem, but it did report on when you had issues. It told you and told them what it was. Since then, Republic has I guess you would say, fix the issue. They've quit taking the amount of sludge that they used to take, so the issue sort of went away. And I know I'm talking to the public, but the problem you have now is, do you want to stop doing something that you've started? You will hear from some people if you do. Is it doing anything to fix the problem? No. I think the problem has been fixed, at least for the time being, thanks to what they did, but we've not had any issues that I know of. You still the one following that, Adam, or is it Bentley? Okay. I've not had any issues. I know one of the monitors is down right now. We have those kinds of issues from time to time that they are in the process of fixing. The gentleman, the citizen that you all deal with a lot, stays on top of it, and he brings it to our attention if a monitor goes down. So he will definitely be on top of it if you don't continue it. At the same time, it's $72,000 or $73,000 worth of taxpayers' money. So whatever you want to do.
I think that's the question is,
So
Do
is
we
this
wanna
for the
keep-
monitors, or is this to continue service with the landfill?
it's monitored.
This is
It's
for
the
the
company out of
monitoring
Toronto.
contract. You know, they installed the monitors and all that, and then the annual amount to continue monitoring. You know, there's monitors scattered around 4 or 5 different locations. This is the contract to continue that. You can go on there. I guess Adam still has access. I never did, but you can go on there and it gives you a reading of what's
Every day.
right. You get them. Don't know how many people looks at them or
Yeah, there's a
But-
quiz at the end.
Who
Right?
could tell what's going on?
Moultrie's
Take
on
a
top
quiz
of
on
it.
that, you'll fail.
Mhm.
Well, we budgeted, we just didn't budget enough.
right.
All right, so then you can infer that the commission wanted to keep it because we budgeted, if you want to go high level on that. But I think at some point in time, because I forget the gentleman's name with T-Deck, he basically said they're useless. But he has a different point of view, right?
Well, they didn't suggest doing it because it wasn't going to
And
fix
they don't
the
look at the
problem.
reports.
And it didn't fix the problem, but the problem got fixed, and it was good to have at that time. It helped you all with the community when things were brought to your attention to say, no, there's nothing wrong. It's this particular whatever in the air that, and so it came in handy, I guess you would say. But as long as we don't have a problem, you don't have those kinds of issues to address.
I agree. So, Mayor, the budget, I'm sorry. The commission voted this budget in with the money to go another year. So I would think we'd have to go back to the full commission to end up. So basically, let's go with Cindy's motion, not her motion, her motion. Commissioner Collins seconded and open up for discussion. Well, the amendment, you have it right there?
Yes,
Okay, so the amendment is to move money out of the fund balance to cover the cost of the equipment for the next year.
the remaining cost of the contract on the air monitoring, and it's moving it from the fund balance of the landfill,
Oh, yeah,
not the
one
general fund.
sixteen, yeah.
Right.
So let's do that, and then I'll have something for Lori. So we have a motion, we have a second to continue. Basically, this is to pay the bill. Do we have any other further discussion? Commissioner Alford, please.
We did this back when Centex still had them, had the
No.
landfill, wasn't it?
No, it's always
Or
been with
has it
Republic.
always been,
Yeah, Santex started what became the problem,
yeah.
in my opinion, to build up the sale. So they started bringing in, and we asked Republic to cut back at about the same time we did this, and they have since cut back and continued to stay cut back. They've cut back way more than we asked them to, as a matter of fact.
But we didn't put the monitors in when Centec was still in charge. We put the monitors in after Republic took over.
I think so.
I guess my question is, it's $73,000. What are we getting for $73,000 other than somebody sitting and reading the monitor?
Those reports are what you're getting, which monitors the air quality, is that the correct word? And tells you if you're smelling something, what it is. You look at those charts that you get.
But that was $73,000 when we put the monitors in, right?
It costs more when we actually
There was
install.
there was an installation fee
Right.
the first year,
Yeah.
and then we had some issues about where they were gonna be located. I know one of them is actually in the road department property, and then they got all surround them. We get, like I said, we get the reports every morning.
I guess my concern is what are we actually getting now, though, that's cost $73,000?
We're getting reports every
a
morning.
report that somebody sits on a computer and reads and sends us a report.
I think the reports are automated, right?
They automatically go out to everyone daily, is it?
Yeah, they come on.
Yeah, around.
But it takes somebody pretty intelligent other than me to read one of those reports.
In my case, I said, Adam, read these reports, 'cause, it's above my pay grade.
Maybe we need to ship them all to Adam. then.
Well, he gets them, but then you guys wanted, somebody anyway, wanted to be able to have those discussions.
I just think it's a lot of money for what we're getting now, I'd say.
I understand.
On the other hand, not to complicate it, but
Yeah,
like going from his point of view, it is budgeted, so you did, in essence, approve it for another year.
We
So
did.
you amend it, you pay it for the other year with the instructions that this time next year cancel the contract.
Yeah, I'd be very cautious about ending something without going to the full commission when it was budgeted. The time to do that kind of decision is at budget time, I think. So I'll ask Lori here in a second to remind us if we want to do something at that level. But right now, we're just doing an accounting thing. We got to move a few thousand over to pay the bill.
$1,421.
Yeah. All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Passes 5-0.
And that's all I have other than your packet of amendments. And Lori, here,
I have
Adam,
one-
you'll-
I do have
Adam.
one quick question for you though, but Lori, if you'll do me a big favor
Give it to
so
Lori.
that when, I guess, March or April next year, when we do get into budget, this is the time to ask that question about, do we want to continue? And if we don't, then we can budget accordingly, right?
Right, that'd be fine with me.
All right. So, Mayor, I apologize. I wasn't able to be here last night, but I did see that you called I guess the fire tax city meeting for tomorrow.
Hmm.
Can you elaborate on what is on the agenda or what? Because I guess that whole word tax, you know how that gets.
Well,
So-
it stems from your
Yeah.
growth
Yeah. There was supposed to be a
agreement.
committee.
And it says, and it pretty much says what they're willing to do. That whenever they annex, you'd have to look at the wording. There's a paragraph in that agreement that spells out what the city's agreeing to do. It just didn't get into the logistics of how it would happen. And that's what this, on that subject, there's two subjects, but on that subject, that's what this is for. The city will come back hopefully tomorrow, or at least have discussions about how they expect it to work. Just so you'll know, I've suggested it works sort of like we do with Charleston, that when they annex an area that fits that criteria that's in that agreement you approved, that they get the values of the property from the assessor's office and use the fire tax rate, and that's the revenue we lost, and they will make us, according to that contract, hold us harmless for a period of time.
So basically, you're getting into dotting the i's and crossing the t's with
Right.
something that's already been agreed on.
Right. It's pretty much spelled out in your agreement that you approve what they're willing to do. It just didn't say how it will happen.
So the landowners, if I understand it correctly, the landowner or the property owner who has just been awarded annexation no longer obviously pays the fire tax on the next bill, or they prorate it, that's right. So from that point, the city, if I remember correctly, is going to do a year's worth to make us whole.
If it's in the area that's worded in that paragraph.
So the agreement that comes out of this committee tomorrow, eventually will have to go to both bodies for
Mhm.
approval. All right.
Yeah. Really, you've already approved the idea. It's just the logistics of how it will work. We'll still bring it to you. And then in the future meetings, we will be discussing toning out closest station for fire calls. That's always been an issue for many, many years, and they're at a discussion stage now where they're willing to discuss. I don't know what will come up with that, but I don't think that'll even be discussed tomorrow, because that's more of a long-term thing. But I was telling, I think, Chairman Cry this morning, they're at least at the table on that subject. and that's, I'll give you an example. Kevin Brooks lives in the city, but he's 100 yards from the county fire station. We want it to be where you tone the closest station. Right now, they tone Cleveland with Bradley sitting right there. And as more annexations have occurred, that's getting to be more and more of a potential issue that we're trying to be ahead of. Don't know what agreements we'll get on that, but we're better chances now. That was discussed many years ago when we were first setting up the fire department, and we couldn't get any agreements back then. But it's working both ways. A gentleman told me this morning he lives on Freewheel Road, is it, Tom? And the city fire station's right there, but he's not in the city. You follow me? And so to provide the best fire protection, the closest station needs to be toned out, along with the one whose area it's in. So in his case, the county station would be toned, but also the city station. And that way you're getting the best fire protection. But I will say this, it's a lot more complicated than that. That's me explaining it in general terms, but when you get into the fire department's discussions, it's more complicated. But that's something that we're going to continue with this committee, hopefully, on to discuss down the road. The only thing required from your agreement that you approved a few months ago is this tax rate thing.
Commissioner Alford?
Yeah, so Mayor's kind of hit the subject. I was thinking about it, like the old exit up there where the old Ponderosa is that they annexed in, that there's no way that they can cover that. And that goes back to what you're toning in the closest fire station. So I think it's going to be critical that we work out some kind of an agreement, because if that's an area that needs to be toned out for Bradley County, which is probably our Charleston or North Lee station, there got to be some finances in there somewhere that we've got to figure out, and I think we need to really look hard at that situation, because it could get shaky real quick.
That's true. As far as the financial part, we've gone around the map and look, and it's both ways. There's areas that a county resident, like the one I said lived on Freewheel Road, benefits, and there's areas like Kevin Brooks where that city resident benefits. It's pretty much a wash. In my mind, it's really not about finances. It's about providing the best fire protection, because I've been scared for years that we're going to have one of those instances happen, and that closest station wasn't toned out to that fire because of jurisdictional things.
Right.
And that's what we hope to get resolved, I hope. We'll get this tax thing behind us tomorrow, and then we'll continue on that one.
But it really isn't a tax issue, right? I mean, that's
It's the thing tomorrow, from your point of view, yes, as we lose fire tax revenue to annexation,
but there's
what can you do to help us? And they've agreed, but only in some areas. It's not every annexation, so don't start thinking that. They didn't agree to that. So that agreement that both bodies has already approved, it has something to do with the new urban growth boundary and the old urban. You have to look at the wording in that. But they are at least willing to hold us harmless for a period of time, which will be the discussion in those areas.
Very good. All right, look forward to that. Anything else? All right, going to the budget amendments. First budget amendment is from the school systems. They are decreasing their fund balance to $724,039.91. She is moving into her expense line. She has it itemized there. You can see state safety funds, CTE funds, technology refresh, and the Bradley High School baseball field house. Do I have a motion to accept the amendment as presented? I have a motion from Commissioner Slater. I have a second from Commissioner Mason. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Passes 5-0. Moving on to the next budget amendment, and you see the supporting documentation there. Next budget amendment is also from the Bradley County Schools, $1,231,427.33. She is increasing her revenue, increasing her expenses, so it's money coming in. This is the pre-K. This is a grant, right? Yeah. Do I have a motion to accept the amendment? I have a motion from Commissioner Slater. I have a second from Commissioner Collins. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Passes 5-0. Moving on to the next budget amendment. You see supporting documentation. Sticking with the Bradley County Schools, a total of $531,926.71, and she has it itemized. She's decreasing her expenses. On one side, increase in the expenses on the other side. You see where she has it itemized. This is the Transition School to Work Grant, TSW, State Special Education Preschool Grant, SSEPK, State Required Change in Object Code 189 to 172. That's a fun number, right? No, it's object code, okay. All right, do I have a motion to accept the amendment as presented? I have a motion from Commissioner Slater, I have a second from Commissioner Alford. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no, passes 5-0. And you see the supporting documentation. We're also with the schools again, and total $232,727.43. She's increasing her revenue, decreasing her lines there. She has it itemized in the bonus plan, decreasing her revenue over on the other side in 141, and increasing expenses, and she has that itemized as well. Adjusted state revenue received for education bonus to actual. Is this the bonus for, the bonus that came with the state, when they did the, what do they call it, the, voucher system? Okay. So all the teachers have received their bonus, okay. It was a 1-year bonus, right? Yeah. All right, so this is the amendment to handle that piece of it. I have a motion from Commissioner Slater. I have a second from Commissioner, who wants it?
I'll take it.
Commissioner Collins. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no, passes 5-0. All right, stay with the school system. We did move to a new fund here called 145, decrease in the fund balance of $160,115.61, an increase in the revenue of $39,000, and increase in their expenses in those lines. This is the Pi Center money, and we're going to talk about this report here in a second, but we'll accept this amendment first. I have a motion to accept the amendment as presented. I have a motion from Commissioner Slater. I have a second from Commissioner Mason. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no, passes 5-0. If you scroll down just a little bit after the supporting documentation, you're going to see a report that she sent over. And if your laptop or your Surface has it sideways, you can hit that little button and turn it to the side. It makes sense there. This is a quote-unquote new report. Ellen is and I chatted about this the other day. Yeah, you see the account 44120 is the lease. Ellen, these are all the accounts that you got from the comptroller's office, obviously. So 44120 lease and rentals, and then you have 44990 other. What's the difference between the two?
44120 is the leases that we're collecting right now just on our MOUs, and the 44990, our other local, is what's coming in specifically for the CTE programming, whether it's through contributions, students, programming fees, various things. So we're keeping it separate. So lease, MOU, common area maintenance fees, all of those are going into the 44120, and then all the program that's specifically for educational items is in the 44990.
All right, so basically, and the leases are per obviously the lease agreement, the contract with them. When we started the Pi Center, one of the things that was said was that you would allow the vendors, we'll use that word, to use some of the money instead of paying quote unquote a lease. They would use that money for their build out to get their space up and operational.
Yes.
Where are we at on that?
So we are still in the abatement period for all of the leases. We've got 1, if not 2 years left. I think sports medicine will be the first one to come off abatement because they were the first ones in about the same time we started the educational programming over there. And then everybody's in like a 5-year period. So we'll start seeing that cycle off because we have filled up pretty much all, I think, but just a handful of spaces.
So is it fair to say like in next 2 years, everybody be paying full market price?
I would say over the next 2 to 5 years, everybody will be paying.
Oh, so they're going
full
to trickle
lease.
in.
Yes, it'll trickle in because not everybody signed their lease on the same day.
Okay. And all the money that comes in via lease and rentals or other revenue, I guess contributions or stuff, gifts, what have you, all stays within the Pius Center. In other words, it never sees 141 or anything
No,
like that.
all of this is going strictly into 145 and staying in 145.
So back to our agreement back when we did the Pius Center, they agreed that any money that came in through, when somebody rents the Pius Center, like we have a dinner or something like that, that's considered 44990 or
I think those are going in the 449.
or rental.
Yeah, I think those are going to other local revenue right now for
Okay.
Walker Commons, Kent Compass, Reimer Conference Room.
So I think that's an important point, is that all the money that's being received is staying in the Pius Center. It's not going to any parts of the other system. I think this is a good report. I've never seen this one before. So the amounts of revenue will obviously increase as they come off their build out, and obviously as the rental price goes up. All right, very good. Anybody questions on that? All right, thank you, Ellen. I appreciate it. Moving on to the next budget amendment. Now we got to get back in order here. Did we actually? Yeah, we did. Now we're on page 16 as it's up on the top right-hand corner. We're sticking with the Bradley County Schools, but we're in Fund 177, Education Capital Projects. She is decreasing her fund balance, and she is increasing expenses. And this is for Pius Center programming out of 177. Do I have a motion to accept the amendment as presented? I have a motion from Commissioner Slater. I have a second from Commissioner Mason. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Passes 5-0. Moving on to the next budget amendment. There you see the supporting documentation. And we're on page 20, County Clerk. This is her annual moving money out of her reserve accounts. How many are those, Lori? Because if you could tell me what pages include all her stuff, we can take them as a package deal, because it's basically, they're all moving money out of reserves into her expense lines.
22,
Her.
24.
24, thank you. So we'll take those up as a package because she's moving from reserves into her expenses. Does that make sense? Very good. All right.
Moving at all, so that's why it says reserve balance is 0. That's
Yeah.
after all of them are done.
And she has to get that number from Caleb, all right, yeah, of how much she can move.
Yeah.
All right, so she's moving all her money out of reserves, putting them into expenses, which she does every year. September is the year for reserve moving. We'll call it that, right? I have a motion from Commissioner Collins. I have a second from Commissioner Mason. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Passes 5-0. That takes us to page 25. And that gets us into the trustee's office. He is basically moving $57 from one line to another. Do I have a motion to accept the amendment as presented? I have a motion from Commissioner Slater. I have a second from Commissioner Alford. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Passes 5-0. Then we get into juvenile. Director Town is increasing revenue and increasing expenses, so it's money coming in. And this is the one where I asked them to include the contract. They have not actually received the money yet, but they have an agreement, Mayor, that they will get the money. So it's,
Yeah.
that's why I asked her to include that, because usually when money comes in, there's a check. All right, $3,150 going into the account 46990, and she is putting it in line 310. Do I have a motion to accept the amendment? I have a motion from Commissioner Slater. I have a second from Commissioner Alford. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Passes 5-0. And there you see the contract. I guess she got me back because that's a big contract. All right, page 38, we are in EMA, so that's Troy. And he is increasing his revenue, increasing his expenses, and credit for refund payment from VFIS Insurance. All right, do I have a motion to accept the amendment? I have a motion from Commissioner Collins. I have a second from Commissioner Alford. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Opposed say no. Passes 5-0. Moving on to the next one, the medical examiner. She is decreasing expenses from one line and moving it over to building maintenance. Oh, the cooler door repair? No, it's not. For $800? We don't, it's not insured?
No,
It
it's
doesn't matter.
probably way too old for that.
All right, do I have a motion to accept the amendment as presented? I have a motion from Commissioner Alford. I have a second from Commissioner Collins. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so no. Passes 5-0. Moving on to page 40, sticking with medical examiner, decreasing her expenses, and she's moving the same amount over. And it's basically, oh, now we got the exhaust fan. Do I have a motion to accept the amendment from Commissioner Slater? I have a second from Commissioner Mason. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Passes 5-0. And the rest, if I am correct,
No, just one.
oh, page 41. All right, so $36.20 is increase in revenue, and we're increasing expenses. She has it itemized. Somebody's getting a whole whopping $36.20 for overtime. So I have a motion to accept the amendment as presented. I have a motion from Commissioner Slater. I have a second from Commissioner Alford. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Passes 5-0. And there's the check. Now we should be in services rendered.
No, that was the only services rendered. This next one's a grant.
We have an increase in revenue, increase in expenses for this money is through the pension grant slide. Oh, yeah, we looked at this one the other day. They already got it. So do I have a motion to accept the amendment as presented? I have a motion from Commissioner Mason. I have a second from Commissioner Collins. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Passes 5-0. And there you see the check. I guess she decided to put this in handwriting. All right, page 45, we have an increase in revenue and an increase in expenses of $280.06. Do I have a motion to accept the amendment as presented? I have a motion from Commissioner Slater. I have a second from Commissioner Mason. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Passes 5-0. Moving on to page 47. Increase in revenue, increase in expenses of $46.90. Going into transportation, do I have a motion to accept the amendment? I have a motion from Commissioner Alford. I have a second from Commissioner Collins. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Passes 5-0. And it gets us to another one, but it doesn't have a page number, but it's $33,030.14. Increase in revenue of contracted services and increase in expenses, other contract services, money from Secure Tech. Do I have a motion to accept the amendment as presented? I have a motion from Commissioner Alford. I have a second from Commissioner Mason. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Passes 5-0. And there you go, Securus Technology. And that should do it, unless I'm missing one. We're good? All right. Going back to our agenda, we're going to chat just quickly about the opioid. As discussed last month, it is now time to open the process for the 2026 opioid fund proposals. Eligible nonprofit organizations are invited to submit proposals aimed at preventing, treating, and mitigating the effects of opioid, as well as supporting activities related to opioid remediations and abatement. Proposals should be submitted. Losing my voice there, huh? Proposals should be submitted to the County Commission office. Organizations submitting proposals will be scheduled to present at the October Finance meeting on October the 6th at 11:30 here in the Commission room. And Lori will schedule them accordingly on all that. If they choose to apply for grant money. Remember, chat with them in October. We'll decide on the appropriations in November, and then the full commission will do its part, and should get started in January if we go on that timeline. So that's basically our formal announcement to invite nonprofit organizations to consider applying for opioid. I believe the amount we have is a little 200,000, Mayor. So it's about what it was last year. So that's where we are on that. All right. Anything on that? I'm seeing none. All right. Going back to our agenda, other business, and none. And communication from the audience. Ellen, this is your time. We'll call it the Ellen time from here on out. Oh, Commissioner Offer, please.
Miss Allen, I noticed y'all were taking a lot of money out of your fund balance. Do you have any idea what's left in there after all this?
Ellen, on what fund?
Fund 141, I'm assuming. Though everything that we took out of that 700 out of that budget amendment was all set up in reserves at the end of the year, so it really didn't reduce our fund balance. There's about $8 million left, so we're sitting at like right at that 7% mark that we feel comfortable with to hold everything out.
So all that came out of last year's fund balance, basically, that you're
Yes.
talking about?
Yes, all of those projects were approved in last year's fiscal year 25 budget. They just did not get completed before June 30, and so we had to budget amendment back in to finish the projects.
So you're sitting at 8 million right now. What you're projecting, 14 at the end of the year?
No, we were projecting right at 8 million at the end of the year, because we, instead of doing some other budget amendments at the beginning of the year, we actually budgeted about 3 million, I think was the number, in our fiscal year 26 original budget for fund balance, to move fund balance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ellen. All right, if there's nothing else, our next meeting will be October the 6th, 2025 at 11:30 here in the commission room. If there's nothing else, we are adjourned. Thank you so much.